Remember this video? Prisoners being released by Iran right after the U.S. coordinated with other world powers to arrange for a $400 million payment. Well, the State Department has since admitted it was used as leverage for the release of those captives. Now this, as an explosive new report today, suggests that the U.S. government and its negotiating partners secretly agreed to allow Iran to skirt some restrictions included in its nuclear agreement so that the country could meet the deadline to start receiving relief from economic sanctions. The White House denying these allegations today. Stephen Yates is the former deputy assistant for national security to former Vice President Dick Cheney. He joins us now with what he believes the fallout from the report could be for the White House. So the White House says there's nothing to see here. Move along, sir. That's their stance. But it doesn't. What they're saying is that basically there was no that Iran did not break any rules. But it looks like from this report that the U.S. and their partners changed the rules ahead of the sign-off.
Yeah, I think very much there's a concern here that goalposts are being moved. Verification and compliance are always the hardest parts of any counterproliferation agreement. And of course, they're the most vital. To too many people, the deal is the deal, and it's the diplomacy around it that's all that matters to them. And that's really what the Obama administration has emphasized. But if you really care about the potential of a nuclear Iran, you need to care even more about compliance. And so this demonstrated weakness on compliance is a great concern. This was a think tank report, but clearly there are questions that have to be answered about whether they're relaxing on standards, because they've clearly opened the floodgates on the benefits flowing to Iran already.
I want to kind of explain to our viewers what this report that came out today and what the White House is saying. This is the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, right? Okay, so they're saying that nuclear stocks and facilities were not in accordance with those limits on implementation aid. So the report is actually going in the face of what that agency was supposed to do, and that they had not created, if they had not created those exemptions, we would not have the relationship with Iran that we have today. What's the motivation for the White House to make sure that that relationship was in place?
Well, the White House invested a lot politically and strategically on the idea that this deal was going to work. It was something that was supposed to kind of recalibrate the entire approach to the broader Middle East, stabilize one of the major threats emanating out of the Middle East. The problem is that when you get into implementation, they were facing facts on the ground that didn't match up with the benchmarks in the deal. And what that really says, strategically and in reality, is that Iran really hasn't intended to meet these standards. And instead of saying, well, we've got a comprehensive agreement and here are a couple of technicalities that are not being met, they're technically out of compliance, they want to brush that under the rug and say, broadly speaking, the deal's doing what it's supposed to do, and we're just going to let this go by. But this low-enriched uranium is important, and the fact that they're falling back on implementation this early in the deal should really reduce confidence that it was a good idea in the first place.
Exactly. Well, and add that to the fact that we have reports of another Iranian American being arrested in Iran after that ransom payment was paid. Well, there's certainly a lot more to follow, and I'm sure Congress is going to pick this up when they come back. Stephen Yates, thank you very much for the commentary. Appreciate it.